The sun shone over Denver, illuminating what should have been one of the happiest days in Logan and Ava's lives. In the ornate church adorned with white flowers, guests gathered eagerly to witness the union of the two young lovers. Logan stood at the altar, nervous yet smiling with happiness. His suit was immaculate, and his eyes sparkled with anticipation. Tiffany, his mother, sat in the front row, observing everything with a critical eye. Meanwhile, Ava was preparing in the room next door, surrounded by her friends and family. Her dress was simple yet elegant, reflecting her modest and sincere personality. She was radiant, though a bit nervous. Tiffany, however, couldn't hide her displeasure. Finally, she had the opportunity to enter the room where Ava was getting ready. "That dress," Tiffany began, her voice dripping with disdain, "is not appropriate for my son's wedding. It's too plain, Ava. You should know better." Ava, surprised and hurt by the criticism, tried to defend herself. "Tiffany, I chose this dress because it represents who I am. Logan loves me for who I am, not what I wear." But Tiffany wasn't willing to listen. In a fit of rage, she advanced and, before anyone could stop her, tore Ava's dress. The sound of fabric ripping echoed through the room, leaving everyone in shock. Ava covered her face, tears streaming down, unable to believe what had just happened. Ava's friends rushed to her aid, trying to repair the damage, but the harm was done. Hearing the commotion, Logan rushed into the room. When he saw Ava's torn dress and her crying, his heart sank. He turned to his mother, his face red with anger and shame. "Mom, what have you done? How could you do this?" Logan shouted, his voice full of indignation. Tiffany, still holding pieces of the dress, responded coldly. "I'm doing what's best for you, Logan. This woman is not suitable for you. She's only after your money." Logan shook his head in disbelief. "You don't know Ava. She loves me for who I am. You're being unfair and cruel." Stepping forward, Tiffany's voice lowered but remained venomous. "If you insist on marrying her, Logan, you'll lose your father's inheritance. Think carefully about what you're doing." Ava, who had heard every word, stood up, her decision made. "Logan, maybe your mother is right. Maybe I'm not the right person for you. I don't want to be the cause of a rift in your family." Logan tried to protest, but Ava put her hand on his arm, stopping him. "Logan, I love you, but I can't compete with your mother's expectations. Goodbye." She left the room, leaving Logan and Tiffany alone. Logan looked at his mother, pain evident in his eyes. "You've ruined my happiest day, Mom. I hope Dad's inheritance is worth it." As Logan walked away following Ava, Tiffany began to realize, too late, the cost of her actions. The scandal caused by Tiffany at Logan and Ava's wedding reverberated throughout Denver. Guests continued to discuss the incident, shocked by the groom's mother's behavior. Logan sat despondently in the room of the house that he and Ava should have shared as newlyweds. The flowers that once decorated the room joyfully now seemed like a sad reminder of what could have been. Feeling justified yet haunted by an unsettling discomfort she couldn't quite identify, Tiffany went to Logan's house to talk. She entered without knocking, as she always did, and found her son staring blankly at Ava's torn dress, now thrown over the sofa. "Logan," Tiffany began, her voice firm yet hesitant, "you need to understand that I did what I did for your own good. Ava is not the right woman for you." Logan looked up, his expression a mix of pain and anger. "For my own good, Mom? You ruined the most important day of my life. How can you think this is for my own good?" Tiffany tried to maintain composure. "She's only interested in your money, Logan. Can't you see that? I was protecting you." Logan shook his head in disbelief. "You don't know Ava, Mom. She loves me for who I am, not for what I have. And now, because of you, she's gone." Tiffany crossed her arms, her expression hardening. "You need to think rationally, Logan. This girl isn't good enough for you. If you insist on marrying her, you'll lose your father's inheritance." Logan stood up abruptly, knocking over the chair he had been sitting in. "I don't care about the inheritance, Mom. I care about Ava. and you destroyed that. Don't you realize what you've done? Don't you understand how much you've hurt the person I love?" Ava, who had come to collect her things, paused in the doorway upon hearing the argument. With tears in her eyes, she entered the room. "Logan, maybe your mother is right. Maybe I'm not good enough for you. I can't be the cause of a rift between you and your family." Logan turned to Ava, his heart breaking at the pain in her eyes. "Ava, don't say that. We can overcome this together. Please don't leave." Ava looked at Tiffany, then back at Logan. "Logan, I love you, but I can't compete with your mother's expectations. I'll never be what she wants for you. Maybe it's better this way." Logan tried to reach for Ava's hand, but she pulled away. "Please, Ava, don't leave me." Ava took a deep breath, trying to hold back tears. "Goodbye, Logan. I hope one day you find someone your mother can accept." She turned and walked out of the house, leaving Logan and Tiffany alone again. Logan, heartbroken, looked at his mother, his voice breaking. "I hope you're happy, Mom. You got what you wanted." Seeing the devastation in her son's eyes, Tiffany began to feel the weight of her actions. She tried to approach Logan, but he backed away, pain and disappointment evident on his face. He left the room, leaving Tiffany alone, beginning to realize, too late, the consequences of her choices. The passage of time deepened the open wound in Logan's heart with each passing day. He and Tiffany barely spoke. The silence between them was more painful than any argument. Logan tried to move on, but every corner of Denver reminded him of Ava and the love he had lost. Tiffany, on the other hand, tried to find a new partner for her son, believing it would repair the damage she had caused. That's when Tiffany met Julia, an elegant and wealthy woman who owned a dress shop in town. Julia was exactly the type of woman Tiffany had always envisioned for Logan. She arranged a meeting between the two, hoping that chemistry would blossom. Still hurting from losing Ava, Logan reluctantly agreed to the date more to please his mother than for any other reason. The first time Logan entered Julia's shop, he was greeted by a sophisticated atmosphere filled with luxurious dresses and upscale clientele. Julia welcomed him with a dazzling smile and confident demeanor. They talked for hours, and to Logan's surprise, he began to feel drawn to her. Julia seemed like the perfect solution to the problems Tiffany believed existed. Meanwhile, Ava tried to rebuild her life. She managed to get a job at Julia's shop as a saleswoman, unaware of the new relationship between Julia and Logan. Ava threw herself into her work, trying to forget the pain of the past. One day, Tiffany entered the shop and saw Ava behind the counter. The disdainful expression on Tiffany's face was unmistakable. "Ava, still working as a saleswoman?" Tiffany said, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "You've really found your place, haven't you?" Ava felt her face flush with shame, but she maintained her composure. "I'm doing my best, Tiffany. I work hard, and I'm honest. That's what matters." Julia, overhearing the conversation, approached with a mischievous smile. "Oh, Tiffany, you know Ava? What a coincidence. She's one of our most dedicated saleswomen." Her tone made it clear she was enjoying the situation. Tiffany smiled, but her gaze was cold. "Of course, I know Ava very well. I'm just surprised to see her here in this place. I always imagined she aimed for something more, suitable for her abilities." Ava felt all eyes in the shop on her, humiliation burning in her chest. But she held her head high, determined not to let Tiffany see her break. At that moment, Logan entered the shop, and his eyes met Ava's. He froze, shock and pain reflecting on his face. Julia, sensing the tension, quickly took Logan's arm and guided him away with a smile. "Come on, Logan. We have so much to talk about." Ava watched them walk away, feeling a mix of sadness and relief. Tiffany, noticing the exchange of looks between Logan and Ava, felt a pang of doubt. Maybe, just maybe, she had been too harsh. But those doubts were quickly buried as Julia began to show Logan the world of luxury and glamour she could offer. In an effort to move on and please his mother, Logan began spending more time with Julia. They became the most talked about couple in Denver's high society, and Tiffany was satisfied, believing she had finally found the right woman for her son. Meanwhile, Ava focused on her work, trying to forget Logan and the life they could have had together. She couldn't help but feel a twinge of sadness every time she saw Julia and Logan together, but she struggled to move forward. Denver, with its bustling streets and painful memories, was a constant reminder of the emotional battle she faced every day. The passage of time continued, and life carried on its course in Denver. Logan and Julia were seen at every social event, always at the center of attention. Their relationship seemed perfect to outsiders, but Logan began to notice cracks beneath the shiny surface. Julia was beautiful and wealthy, but she also had a dark side that Logan couldn't ignore. She treated those around her with disdain and often displayed jealous and manipulative behavior. One night, after an extravagant party, Logan and Julia had a heated argument at home. Logan confronted Julia about her disrespectful attitude toward staff and friends. Julia, eyes blazing with anger, retorted that he should be grateful she was by his side, maintaining his social status intact. "Do you think it's easy being with you?" Julia said, her face twisted with rage. "I do all of this for you, Logan, and you still have the audacity to criticize me?" Logan sighed, weary. "It's not about that, Julia. It's about how you treat people. I can't keep pretending everything is okay." Julia laughed, a cold and joyless sound. "Pretending? Maybe you should have thought about that before bringing that saleswoman way into our lives." The mention of Ava was like a punch in Logan's gut. He still couldn't get Ava out of his head. The pain of losing her and the guilt of letting her go haunted him daily. Feeling suffocated, Logan walked out of the house, leaving Julia alone with her anger. Meanwhile, Ava continued with her life, trying to distance herself from the past. On an ordinary day at the store, a new customer walked in. It was Dr. Ryan, a respected physician well known in Denver. He needed an elegant dress for an event, and upon meeting Ava, he was immediately captivated by her kindness and beauty. They talked for a long time, and Ryan found himself drawn to her in a way he hadn't expected. Feeling flattered, Ava began to open her heart to Dr. Ryan. They started meeting outside of the store, and quickly a deep connection formed between them. Ryan was everything Ava could wish for: caring, respectful, and genuinely interested in her as a person. When Tiffany learned that Ava was dating Dr. Ryan, she was furious. To her, Ava had no right to get involved with the doctor who had always taken care of her family. She went to the store to confront Ava, her anger evident. "Ava, do you think you can just come into my life and take everything that's mine?" Tiffany said, her voice filled with contempt. Ava took a deep breath, remaining calm. "Tiffany, I haven't taken anything from you. Dr. Ryan and I met by chance, and he's a wonderful man. I'm not to blame if you can't see beyond your own prejudice." Tiffany advanced, eyes full of fury. "You don't deserve happiness, Ava. You ruined my son, and now you want to ruin my family?" Ava shook her head sadly. "I never wanted to hurt anyone. I'm just trying to move forward as you should." Meanwhile, Logan discovered that Julia was cheating on him with a lawyer in town. He confronted her, and Julia, unapologetic, admitted everything. Devastated, Logan told his mother what had happened. Tiffany, finally realizing the mistake she had made by forcing Logan to push Ava away, felt profound sadness. "Logan, I was wrong," Tiffany said, her voice choked with emotion. "I should never have interfered in your life. Ava is a wonderful woman, and I was blinded by my prejudice." Logan, holding back tears, replied, "It's too late now, Mom. Ava is with Dr. Ryan, and I've lost her forever." The story was about to take a new twist. Ava and Dr. Ryan got engaged, and their happiness was evident to everyone around them. Tiffany, in a rare moment of humility, decided to seek Ava out to ask for forgiveness. "Ava, I've made so many mistakes," Tiffany said, tears streaming down her face. "I misjudged you and destroyed my son's happiness. I beg you, forgive me." Ava looked at Tiffany, feeling a mix of compassion and relief. "Tiffany, I forgive you. We all make mistakes. I hope you and Logan find peace." With these words, Ava and Dr. Ryan walked towards the altar, ready to start a new life together. At the ceremony, Logan and Tiffany were present as guests, witnessing the beginning of Ava's new chapter. Moments before heading to Ava's wedding, Tiffany walked through her garden with heavy steps, her mind turbulent with tumultuous thoughts. She knew she needed to find Logan and share the devastating news she had just discovered. The family lawyer had revealed the true state of finances left by Logan's late father. Enormous debts, incurred without Tiffany's knowledge, had nearly consumed the entire inheritance she had hoped to pass on to her son. Finding Logan in the library, immersed in a book, she took a deep breath and entered. Her heart ached seeing her son, still grappling with the consequences of his own past choices. "Logan, we need to talk," Tiffany said, her voice heavy with sorrow. Logan looked up from his book, surprised by the seriousness in his mother's expression. "What is it, Mom? What's going on?" Sitting beside him, Tiffany held his hands. "Logan, I've uncovered something terrible. Your father's finances aren't what I thought. Most of the inheritance was eaten up by debts he incurred. I didn't know. I swear I didn't." Logan was stunned, trying to process the information. "Debts? But how could this happen?" Tiffany sighed, tears starting to flow down her face. "Your father, he made some very risky financial choices before he died. I trusted him, Logan. I trusted he would take care of our future." Logan looked at his mother, seeing the genuine pain in her eyes. "Mom, does this mean we have nothing left?" Tiffany shook her head, feeling a deep emptiness inside. "Yes, Logan. I'm afraid it does. All the wealth, everything I planned for you. It's gone." Logan fell silent for a moment, letting the reality sink in. Finally, he said, "I'm so sorry, Mom. I'm sorry you have to go through this." Tiffany squeezed Logan's hand tightly. "Logan, I know I've made mistakes. I misjudged you, misjudged Ava. I can't believe my actions have led us to this point." Logan looked at his mother, seeing her vulnerable for the first time in a long while. "Mom, you were trying what you thought was best for me. I understand that now, but we need to move forward, together." Tiffany nodded, feeling a sense of relief at finally sharing the truth with her son. "Yes, Logan. We need to find a way forward together. Maybe now, without the distractions of money and status, we can truly reconnect as mother and son." Ava and Dr. Ryan's wedding was a magnificent event, held at one of Denver's most luxurious venues. The decor was impeccable, with exotic flowers and soft lights creating a magical atmosphere. Ava looked stunning in an elegant wedding dress, and Dr. Ryan couldn't take his eyes off her. As the guests settled in, a murmur of anticipation filled the venue. Logan and Tiffany arrived together, both nervous and uncertain. They knew their presence would be noticed, and the weight of guilt and regret hung heavily on their shoulders. Tiffany held onto Logan's arm, trying to impart some strength to him. When Ava walked down the aisle, everyone rose to see her. Her eyes briefly met Logan's, and he felt a mix of sadness and happiness. He knew she was where she belonged, but the pain of losing the love of his life was still palpable. "Now answer me honestly. If you were in Ava's place, would you have invited Logan and Tiffany to your wedding after everything they did to you?" And if you enjoyed this story and want to continue following emotional narratives full of twists and turns, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like so you won't miss the next stories. Your participation is crucial for the growth of this space where we can explore life's paths, its challenges, and its rewards together. Thank you for staying with me until here, and I hope to see you in our next story, where we'll explore new settings and emotions. Until then.